Smile Freely here, and as you can see, this is not a hair video, but it is something personal that I wanted to share with you guys, and that is my experience studying abroad. You know, for anyone out there who's in high school, going to college, thinking about going to college, or going back to college, I'm hoping that if you have even the slightest interest in going abroad, that this somehow motivates you to do it. Last year at this time, I was in my second week abroad, yes, and you know, so it's bringing back a lot of memories. I miss it so much. I did wait until my senior year to study abroad, and you know, the rule at my school is if you study abroad, you have to have at least one remaining semester when you return. And so studying abroad in my senior year, I limited myself to one time unless I wanted to stay in school longer than 4 years, and I made the choice not to. And if I had the opportunity to go again, I would be on the plane as soon as possible, okay? So I'm hoping that, you know, sharing this story with you guys will encourage you to take advantage of studying abroad out of the country, and I also want something to look back on for myself. So I've decided to do this in two parts because I know that I'm gonna run my mouth and I'm gonna try to keep that to a minimum. So this is part one, where I'm just gonna be talking and showing a few pictures as I talk, and then a part two will be, you know, mainly just the photos and the clips that I have. So I have been studying Spanish since the 6th grade, in exploratory Spanish, and all the way through high school and continued on in college. And it was my minor in college, actually. I chose to study in Spain instead of Latin America because I knew that I was going to want to travel to other countries. And so being in Europe, Spain just had, you know, to me, for the places that I wanted to travel to, it was just a better place to be because I knew I could travel to places that I'd always wanted to, you know, step foot in. But I do want to make it to Latin America one day. I studied in Málaga, Spain specifically, which is right off of the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. So I did stay with the host family, and literally from the balcony of our apartment, I could see the sunrise over the coast.
So eye to eye, we didn't see.
It was beautiful. I stayed right on the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. So Malaga is in the Andalusian part of Spain, and so, you know, it's in the south. There is warm weather. I didn't even experience any colder weather until the end of my trimester. And one of the biggest obstacles I ran into before studying abroad were the funds. You know, it's very discouraging. If you don't have the money, how can you go? There are so many scholarships and grants out there for students studying abroad. Might it take, you know, a while to complete the application or the essay or give the speech or anything that it takes? Yes, but it is out there, and it's worth it to do. So I would try to start as early as possible so that I can take out as least loans as possible. My program cost $8,500, and I, you know, from the jump knew that I wanted to take at least $4,000 for spending money on top of the airfare, which was about $1,200. So total, it was about a $14,000 trip. You know, the normal semester at my school is about 8, I want to say. But if you think about, you know, the things that you pay back home, like your car notes or your food or for your rent, you know, if you add all that together, then I mean, for me, it added up to be about the same, maybe a little more, but definitely worth the experience. Of course, another big concern that I had before going abroad was how I would be accepted, because I'm sure somebody else has the same worry. I'm kind of hesitant to say this. I don't want to offend anyone. Yeah, but I'm just gonna be real. I just wanted to know how I'd be accepted because I'm black. And you know, some countries, they just aren't as open as others, races, other ethnicities coming into the inside. I had a lot more good interactions and encounters and experiences than I did bad. A lot of Spanish men say morena, which is just a brown skinned girl. My friends always would think it was so funny because I hated that. I studied with ISA, International Studies Abroad, and so with their program, with that $8,500, not only do you go to the country that, you know, you're studying in, of course, but you also get a bunch of excursions. We spent 2 or 3 days in Madrid. I think it was 1 or 2 nights. And then we went to Toledo one night, and then we went to Malaga. I got to Malaga actually 4 days after I had landed in Spain. Funny story with my roommate, actually. Well, we had never met before, but we did go to the same school. We just went ahead and requested one another since, you know, we go to the same school. You're already going to a foreign country, so it just seemed, you know, cool to at least be in a room with someone who, you know, you go to the same school with. Don't get me wrong, if you actually get with some random roommate, I mean, that's cool too. We still hung out with like different people and made, you know, lots of different friends, but it was just cool to room with somebody who goes to the same school as you too. You know, I can remember we were sitting on the bus waiting to meet our parents, and it was just like, oh, this is it. And I loved my padres. The first day we were there in Malaga, Paco took me and my roommate Rita on this 3-hour walk on the beach, and we just spoke Spanish the entire time. So staying with the host family definitely forced me to speak the language much more than I would have if I were in an apartment, you know, full of American students just like myself. You know, even now, no soy fluido, pero yo aprendí mucho mientras que en España yo hablo mucho mejor que antes de mi semestre en el extranjero. That was so random. I thought it'd be helpful if you guys heard me speak the language. It was just a really beautiful day, and we went to sleep like happy that night, like okay, because you anticipate, you know, you see all the reviews, my parents at this, my parents at this, we couldn't do this, we couldn't talk on the phone, blah blah blah. But so you anticipate all those things, which if you do have those type of things, it's okay. You're in a different country, they operate a different way, it's okay. Once we got a feel for each other and they got a feel for us, it was like, now the semester begins. But then on my own time, I also traveled to Switzerland,
Now God didn't send me a fling.
to Scotland,
Journey. Now every stop she challenged the things I thought concerned me.
France,
How much I love music and what I do for freedom and why
and I traveled to Italy.
when I see them. Bruv, I grew fast.
So those were 4 things that I planned myself with different groups of friends on the weekends. My favorite country out of them all was Scotland. There's a lot of different people. We went to a pub, we danced. You know, they asked us questions about where we were from. We asked them questions about where they were from. Crazy things like that just drew my attention to how different we all are, but how much we can appreciate each other. Aside from all the times that I traveled outside of Spain and traveled outside of Malaga, I do want to talk, you know, about how life in Malaga was. Spain had a lot to do with my weight loss journey. Our school, Universidad de Málaga, the University of Malaga, was 3.1 miles away from our apartment. I rode the bus in the morning to school, so I walked home for lunch and then walked back to school if I had evening class. I walked to the store downtown. I'd walk to my friend's house. Walk. 6 to 12 miles, 5 to 7 days out of the week. You just walk a lot, and the diet is completely different. I started transitioning while in Spain, so I was still getting relaxers. I took 2 relaxers with me, actually. I had to wash the relaxer out in cold water. The water got cold on me, like, by the time I got in, rinsed some of it out. I was still working it through, and the water was like, I was like, no! I did get to go to Paris, of course, and I did a lot of touristy things. Switzerland, I kind of had a guide. We had a guide, and he was the bomb. He took us out, and I apologize to any vegetarians or anybody who's watching this, but that doesn't agree with this. But I did eat horse meat, and I love horses, but it was the best meat I ever tasted in my life. In my defense, he told me to try it, and you know, while abroad you just try things, and so I'm like, it's probably duck or something like that. Not saying a duck is less valuable than a horse. Please don't destroy me for this, okay? Please. Ate it. He said, do you know what you just ate? And I said, what? It's the best meat ever. He's like, a horse. I'm like, but it's so good. And now I want to touch on things that you should remember to bring if you do choose to study abroad. So first things first, you want to make sure you have a journal. This is a journal that I actually bought in a bookstore in Málaga on some frustrating days where I was really homesick. I'm like, oh, I'm ready to go, and then the next day I'm like, oh, so beautiful. Another thing that was one of my best friends while I was abroad was my electronic translator. How annoying is it to have to carry this around? It's so light and compact. I could literally put it in my pocket. Another thing to think about is your phone. You know, you can either do an international plan or you could get a phone abroad. I got a phone abroad. I got a phone through the program, but if you have an iPhone, you know, there are a lot of things you can use with Wi-Fi. Another thing to keep in mind is a compact wallet. My normal wallet is like huge. Make everything as compact as possible. While studying abroad, if you do plan to study to other countries or fly at all, there are, you know, these cheap airlines called Ryanair, and I think it's a Blue Jet or something like that. You don't get a free checked bag like you do with Delta or maybe some other place, bigger airlines here at home, unless you want to pay, you know, 35 euros for your bag there and then 35 euros for your bag back. So bring a small luggage. I would say this is as big as it should get for Ryanair. Make sure that you have a small carry-on for those weekends that you plan to fly, because the planes are very, very, very strict. And I can remember boarding the plane a couple of times and I was scared to death because I was like, are they going to charge me? Are they going to charge me? That was my first time traveling out of the country. So that was the first time I had to get a passport. Do not wait too long to get this, and find out if you need a visa. If you're going to be somewhere longer than 90 days or longer, you need a visa. You know, your program will probably tell you that, but I just want to reiterate it. Get a visa. Yeah, make sure you get that, or you'll be sent back home, or you'll be sent out of that country anyway. And lastly, depending on what time of the year you're traveling, if you're traveling in the summer, to Spain anyway, definitely don't bring a long sleeve shirt because it's going to be blazing. But if you are traveling, you know, in the fall semester or spring semester where the weather's kind of split in half in some places, and just bring a little bit of everything, and then make sure you actually leave a little bit of empty space in your luggage so that you can bring things home. Okay, one last thing. Do not, you know, when I went, before I left, I went to Walmart, Kmart, everywhere, spent about $150 total, and bath stuff, body stuff, lotion. Don't do that to most places. They sell deodorant, they sell bath and body things. Don't waste luggage space on those things. I also want to share with you guys what I brought home. First, I'll start with these because they're not really, you know, like, I love movies. I brought Princess and the Frog, or Tiana y el Sapo. This is Miss Congeniality, Wanted, or Se Busca. This is my favorite movie, like, ever. Descubriendo a los Robinsons. Cenicienta, which is Cinderella. I got Bride Wars, Guerra de Novias. I really love these. The only thing is I have to have a newer DVD player because my DVD player won't play them because of the national code. I also got Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone in Spanish. I got a lot of these, but I gave a lot away for Christmas. And then they open up. I also got a lot of scarves. I gave a lot of them away for Christmas. They'll have a lot of them like at stands and things like that, but I really love them. They're really soft. But one of my favorite purchases were these leather boots. This was probably my most expensive purchase while there. They were 85 euros, which was probably like at the time, probably like $115. And I told myself before I left that I wanted a pair of authentic leather boots, and so I really love these, really love these boots. And they're the type of thing that, you know, they, as they get dingier, they just get better. I love the leather bags, they have them there, and I'm not a purse type of girl. I don't like purses. I like satchels, over the shoulder satchels. I can also take this to work because I can tuck this in. But this is my favorite purchase that I got while I was over there. This is a satchel bag. Isn't that just beautiful? I just love it. This was 35 euros. Probably like $50, I guess. Oh, it's my favorite bag. I could wear this every day. And I put it like this, or like over the shoulder. I just love this bag. I love it. Love it. It's my favorite bag in the whole world. So those are just a few of the souvenirs I got. I got some more floating around here somewhere that I keep boxed up until I move into my own place. I did study abroad while I was in a relationship. I left in a relationship and I came back in a relationship, so it is possible. I won't get into it too much in this video. If you would like me to do a separate video, just let me know and I'll do that. Believe me, I was scared before I left. You know, he's like, do I have something to be worried about? Because I'm not worried, you know what I'm saying? It is possible. Some people, depending on who you ask, feel like it's just another stress. You're already having to deal with being away from home. You know you better than anyone else. You know your relationship better than anyone else. You know your partner better than anyone else. So you make that decision for yourself. I hope that this video was not too long. I hope that if you are thinking about studying abroad, this motivated you to at least look into it, because it's a great experience, especially if you've never been abroad. If you have never been out of the country, you know, it is a great experience. And if you have traveled out of the country with your family, you know, even if it was like a week or two at a time, going for a few months and actually immersing yourself into the culture will change your life in so many ways, or it should if you immerse yourself. It is just a great opportunity. I feel so blessed, and I hope that I can make my way over. I'm not going to say I hope. I will make my way over there again. You know, I hope that this helped in some way and was informative in some way. I hope I didn't talk too much. I tried to keep it as short as possible. If there are any questions or anything that I left out that you feel left out, just please let me know and I'll answer. Bye guys. Thank you so much for watching, and in whatever you do, keep moving forward.